recently I had the luxury of staying at Hotel Montreal General again. Hotel Montreal General. And it's an amazing thing. There was this homeopath doctor who was actually housed in the same ward, psychiatric ward, 4 West. And he he told this well, I guess she was an intern, a psychiatrist. He said, "Listen, I'll let you know if I think anybody's out to get me. I will also let you know if I feel like killing myself. Um, and you know, that's it. Please don't ask me these questions. I am not hearing any voices. I do not think anybody is after me, and I don't want to die, which means that I never want to take my own life. But it's an amazing thing how half of a psychiatric unit, okay, could ask you the same question and questions over and over again. And it's just shocking to me. If anything, it's just infuriating. So my life will never be the same again. Oh, poor Kimberly Ann Solomon, the quagmire of life, the maelstrom of the world. But it's really getting out of hand. It's really just, I'm shocked at every incident. Every incident shocks me. I mean, I was robbed of 20 days of my life sitting in 4 West, a psychiatric ward in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I was robbed. I was robbed of my life, as far as I'm concerned, because of pretenses that never happened or might have been mentioned in passing, but really were not part of me. Because you see, I've never been suicidal. I love life, and I want to live no matter what. I have been through the most incredibly terrible, horrible situations, and I've fought. I've fought to live. I've been without food. I've been dehydrated to an extreme that, it's just an impossible thing that I lived through it because I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter to live. I want to live. I want to love. I want to be loved. I want to be in the world. And how anybody could say otherwise. There are no suicidal attempts. There are just none. And without suicide attempts, there shouldn't be any option of being suicidal. If you look at my records, my whole life, there will never be one attempt of suicide. Because I don't want to die. I never wanted to die. And I don't see things. I don't have hallucinations. I don't have the luxury. I would love them. Apparently when you get depressed, ironically enough, you see a whole bunch of really cool colors. I never got to see any of that. And I've never even been affected by drugs so much that I not know who I am or what day it is. Like, I love the way do you know what day it is? No. Do you know, what is that? Of course I do, silly. Gee willikers. And if I didn't, I was 1 day off, would you penalize me? What would you say if I didn't know it was a Wednesday and a Tuesday? Would that be indicative of my mental status? Really? Because I lost track of the date? Really? It amazes me. These questions are so shockingly ignorant. I can't even think of a better word. Just really ignorant. People who lack ignorant, to me, means people who lack knowledge of psychiatric principles, psychiatric principles. People who lack knowledge of that and are told to ask the patients, the people, what day it is, how old they are, and if they're lucky to count backwards. Oh, there you go. I'm all okay if I answered all 4 of those. I'm definitely okay. I'll be on my way. Not so simple. Because if someone told somebody else that you were, somebody just walked over and said, she is, and have a little bit of a higher influence in our society, for lack of better terms. Yeah. People who are respected because they've graduated university. Okay, we'll generalize that. If they said, they said that girl is suicidal, that girl is it, that girl is that, you could do up to 20 days in a hospital walking back and forth, back and forth. Breakfast, lunch, and supper. I mean, the highlight is of me being. I had terrible insomnia. I couldn't sleep. So, oh my goodness, I finally, got through, and it was 7:30, time for breakfast. Then I had breakfast. Then now what? Now I have to wait till lunch again. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 5 more hours of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for a meal. Because that's the highlight. When you're in a psychiatric ward, the highlight is eating. It's food. That's why I gained 20 pounds, 15 pounds. Anyways. It's an amazing thing. It's a shockingly despicable system when hearsay can weigh in on someone's life so much. When hearsay can be a determinate what you live. What you live. When hearsay, nobody, no evidence, no anything, and it could violate 20 days of my life. Nobody's around. In fact, it's really bad because I wasn't prescribed the very, very same medication that I should be getting, which is ADHD medication. That was totally stopped. And here's another thing. It's a brotherhood of doctors, so they're all sticking up for each other, and nobody wants to prescribe me again the medication that I've been on for 10 years. So no more. They are just all pointing fingers. When I told my doctor, I said, listen, if you don't prescribe me the ADHD, I'm going to have to get speed. Yep, I'm going to have to go to the streets and get speed. You understand that, don't you? And he seemed not to care. Because that's what I do. When I don't get my ADHD medication, and if anybody knows where to get anything that could speed up my brain so I can concentrate, crazy, eh? Just listening to what I said. Speed up my brain so I could hurry up and be calm. But that's what it is. That's what it is. Oh, so misunderstood ADHD people are. Oh, there's one thing for sure. When you're dyslexic, I noticed that at least 70% of people who have ADHD also were dyslexic. So that would be one more reason, just one more on top of the many that I have ADHD and I rely. And also there's 80% of all ADHD people who have ADHD, 80% medication works for. 80%. So I'm like, what, one of the 20% that doesn't need it? Or is it just convenient for you guys to point fingers of why I was held hostage for 20 days? So let's all hurry up and get together and say, okay, she was getting high on her own supply. What? Getting high on my own supply. And if the cops would say, are you taking your medication, Mrs. Solomon? I would have to say, oh, yes. Oh, yes. But if the doctors ask me if I am taking my own medication 4 times a day, it's clandestine all of a sudden. Ironically, it's clandestine. Whole bunch of different things I've touched base on. And I'm just still in absolute shock about being allowed, society allows to lock you up and take away precious time. And time is precious now because I'm going to be 55 and freedom 55, but not for Kim, right? Not for Kim. She's just going to have to enter a whole new other, I don't even know. It's not even a realm. It's, I don't know. I just don't know why any of this has happened for the past 2 years. Any of it. I don't know why. What I've done to deserve it. I have no idea. I was just trying to live my life 2.5 years ago. And all of a sudden, it started changing. And getting worse and worse. I'm not getting better. And then worse and worse. And I'm getting better. And worse and worse. And there doesn't seem to be a day where there isn't some sort of problem that happens from my plight. Not plight. The identity, the not, the Facebooks, the YouTube. I rue the day I ever introduce anybody to YouTube. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Just watch out and don't ever ask answer anything honestly to police because they'll throw it in your face. They will. Because as many times as I said I wasn't suicidal, it fell on deaf ears. As many times. No, we still have to take you to the hospital. I mean, it says who? Says who? Says my daughter? Says someone that I feel, and I did. I feel like jumping out the window sometimes. I wouldn't. I haven't. There's nothing that would back that up. If anything, when police came to my door, they said, well, let's look at this behavior. She's never had any suicide attempts. She's never been this. So what would make us think that she is now when things are not as bad as they were? I don't know. It's time to think, officers. Time to think. Uh-oh, there seems to be a problem here. No. There was just time to carry out orders. And the orders were lock me up. Lock me up. And it's very sad. So I'm 10-minute talk, and I'm going over 10 minutes, and I try to respect that. So that's it. Kibitz and bits. Psychiatric versus having ADHD.